So today is going to be an interesting day. We have new fuel pumps for the Nissan GT-R. So these are the AAM in-tank high-flow fuel pumps. So I ordered these from AAM Competition, who's doing all the tuning. As you guys saw in a previous video, I'm now running the GT-R on the speed density tune with the vent to atmosphere blow-off valves. Next step is upgrading the fuel pumps, of course, for the next step after that, which will be in the following video. This install may or may not be the fun install. We need to get into the gas tank of the GT-R, which I guess we'll go ahead and start up. It's actually located underneath this passenger rear seat. So if you put your finger in the front and pull this little clip, there's a buckle, and we can remove this cushion, and the fuel tank is right here. So with the easy part out of the way, we can now access where the fuel tank is for the GT-R. You're gonna start off with either using pliers or a Phillips head, and there's these little plastic tabs you can twist one way, and then we can lift up this fuel cap cover and just kind of fold that out of the way a little bit. And then from there, all you gotta do is unplug these two clips. You can kind of just pinch them a little bit and they come right off. So from here, this is where we get to a weird part that I don't wanna do. It's gonna sound bad. Now I need to try to start up the car because these two lines, there is a ton of pressure and those are fuel lines. If I go ahead and take these off right now, it is gonna spray gas on the inside of my interior, and I don't think the car will ever smell good after that. It's gonna like literally not start up. It's just gonna start turning over. It's gonna sound weird. Fuel pumps did not turn on just now. Oh, and there's no gas gauge.
Might want to shut it off. Did you do that?
Yeah, that's all. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna put towels around it, but yeah, that is, you can kind of smell some gas.
Yeah, I smell it.
I did not like that. So after that really bad sounding, horrible start, it is now time to take off these fuel pump lines, or these fuel lines. I'm gonna put this over it because there might still be some pressure on these lines, but all you have to do is pinch the top right here and pull this off. Pinching it. Okay, I felt it. There's a little bit of,
You can hear it too.
yeah, all right. Yeah, that is full gas, wow. All right, so that one's off, and now we do the other side. So probably had to let it actually run until it stopped running, but all right, that one's off too. All right, so we're good. So that wasn't too bad. I'm just gonna dry it up here and throw this wet towel way outside of my car. But there we have it. We have two fuel lines off. All right, next up, I'm using the GoPro POV. I'm using a 5/16. I think it's also an 8mm, but I don't have an 8mm. And I need to loosen up these bolts around the actual fuel pump. So we'll just get all these off. So now, this is the actual fuel pump assembly. So we have a few different pieces to it. Oh my gosh. And it is like full. I have a quarter tank of gas, but this looks way more than a quarter tank of gas. We have some wires that I need to get out along with the float. So the next part is the sucky part. So there is the fuel tank, but there's gonna be a metal or a plastic clip on the backside of this fuel pump assembly. So, Mike, if you wanna help roll up my sleeve past my elbow, this is gonna suck. Thank you, Mike. Sticking my hand in a gas tank. Oh, it's warm. Hey, it's not, ooh.
Yeah?
I have less gas than this. Yes, I hope. Okay, there. I think that's the clip. I don't know. And my hand's gonna get soaked. Yeah, I got gas in my glove anyway. I just gotta do it barehanded. Ugh. All right, screw it. Okay, there we go. I got it unclipped. Okay. All right, so there we go. I had to pull it up. All right, now we're off. So now, there's a 90-degree one right here.
Do you remember where all these go?
Yeah, the 90-degree is pretty easy. It goes with the green one. All right, so the left one is gonna be just chilling. This is the right one. I'm still holding the right one.
Yep.
And I'll just put this really quick to it. Yeah, just take that right out of the car.
Good?
Yep. So the messy part is now done. We have the whole fuel pump assembly out of the tank of the GTR. Now it's time to disassemble this. The actual two little pumps are inside this area. So what you're gonna notice along this whole casing are these plastic little tabs, and the way you remove everything, I'm gonna basically have to pinch the bottoms. It's probably good to use a set of pliers like this, and you kind of have to pinch the bottoms while pushing the centerpiece up, which I'll be using. I have a few different little flathead screwdrivers. Lift this up basically while you pinch that down, and that's basically the way we're gonna separate this case. And then this tab right here is actually what we were pressing when it was inside the gas tank. And then lastly, just pulling this little brown piece out of it. All right, so that is that. So next up, I'm going to unplug the actual fuel pumps. You'll have a black cable on each side. Just using a flathead, just pinch the little butt down, and then we're just pulling the connector out, as you can see. So with those unplugged, I think the next part is to now separate these two pieces. The fuel pump's sitting right in here. You're gonna have 4 of these. You can see these little plastic tabs. You have 4 of these around each pump. So it might work to kind of put in flatheads to help get them up and over. There's not too much tension on them, but we want to at least just get them up and so we can see how far we can pull these out. So we're slowly pulling this piece off now. They're separate, so you can just wiggle it. All right, that worked. So that piece is off, and then now I just need to push out the fuel pump itself. There's a rubber kind of grommet holding it in place. There we go. And there we go. That is a stock fuel pump. Now, one thing you're gonna notice on this piece right here, we have a plastic little retainer thing. There is a rubber O-ring that I'm assuming is left inside here. That's what I saw in some videos. We need to get that off and replace it with what the kit comes with. So definitely replace the O-rings. All right, so with everything disassembled now, we have your factory pump and then the high flow pump. They look exactly the same as far as the physical size. Of course, this is just more powerful for the bigger injectors, all the extra tuning we're gonna be doing. So next up, I'm gonna pull this little red rubber cap off of the new fuel pump. Take this plastic thing off, same orientation. I'm gonna slide that onto the new pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the O-ring all the way down where it's gonna be. Not too crazy much. All right, so now we have some grease around the rubber. That way it'll actually go back into the car really nicely, or back into this assembly. All right, so now the 2 new fuel pumps are ready to go in, and it's basically gonna be reverse order. So sliding a new pump in, everything should line up pretty good. Sliding the other one in, and just, there we go. Okay. All right, there we go. One comes out and the other one comes out. All right, so then these pieces, there's no O-rings that go on here, which I guess is kind of weird, but I guess that's how it is. Just the way they came off, they're gonna go back into place. Everything lines up perfectly. All right, so I think we have one in place, and you'll know it's in place. There's actually a little metal piece that'll kind of poke out of this bottom here once everything is completely intact. And now we'll just take these plugs and they just plug right back in place. It's a plug and play fuel pump. All right, I am 100% sure that is correctly installed. Everything looks pretty good. So now we just need to reinstall this, I think. So this just kind of goes back together. just like it came out. Make sure that rubber gasket is in place. And then flipping this back around to the front, last thing is just this blue one that I had taken off. All right, so everything is now assembled and put back together. It's now time to put this thing back into the GTR. Shouldn't be anything dripping, so it should be a little bit cleaner than when I took it out. So we need to plug in all of these connectors first. So as we remember, this one right here is the zip tie. This is gonna go on the right side. So you can kind of just spin these a little bit. And one thing one guy recommended on a video, you want to look into the gas tank, hopefully the GoPro sees it, and there's 2 tracks there. And we're basically lining up the tracks with this underside. So these 2 grooves are gonna slide in between there, and I guess we push this way for this thing to lock in place. So this is gonna be kind of tough. This is gonna be the hardest part, lining this thing up.
2 hours later.
All right, so just got it. That is the end of the messy part. And I have gas all in my gloves, so you might as well not even wear gloves unless you have like on empty. So the fuel pump assembly all back into the tank and actually secured. That was a little bit of a challenge, but not too bad. Next up, we have this whole housing. So with the floater piece in there, getting the cables here as well. Just kind of let it rotate in here the natural way it should be fitting. And then with these 2 fuel lines out of the way, we can actually put this original ring here, and that way we can actually lock this thing into place. Pretty much in place now. All right, so with all of those bolts now nice and secure, last up, we just gotta put these original fuel lines back on, line up this plastic spot with it. They clip right into place. And then of course, last but not least, we need to plug in these 2 connectors and make sure there's no fuel inside these areas right here. So make sure you dry them off, do whatever you gotta do. That's probably not a good thing. And very easily, we can now connect these 2, small one to the small one, and then of course big one to big one. And then you can take this piece, lock it back into place using a Phillips head or a pair of pliers, turn these counterclockwise 90 degrees, and this will just lock these back into place. All right, so we are back plugged in. We're gonna see if the fuel pump turns on. So when I turn the ignition on, you should hear it. All right, I heard a little whistle back there. So the startup should be kind of bad. My fuel gauge is back, so that's nice, and we're the same spot we were. So the floater did not get damaged. All right, had to prime the whole system, but we're running. No check engine lights. It's getting fuel, so we're good. Air fuel ratio is normal. All right, well there we have it. We've installed upgraded fuel pumps for the Nissan GT-R. My tuning from AAM is already set up for these fuel pumps, so we're already good to go. Of course, we do have more things coming, which I'm probably gonna install either later today or another day this week. But GT-R has some more major mods coming for even more power, so comment down below what you guys think. But check out AAM Competition. They've been doing all the tuning on the GT-R since day one, and then I ordered these fuel pumps from them, so definitely check out their website. But there we go, installing fuel pumps on the Nissan GT-R. On a scale of 1 to 10, honestly, I give it like a 5. That really wasn't too hard. The hardest part is just it's messy. You're dealing with gas. You're sticking your hands in a fuel tank. My hands feel really dry and really weird right now, but I'm sure I'll bounce back. But there you go, fuel pumps on the GT-R, pretty decently easy, semi-challenging, and it was kind of fun to do. There was a lot of fun little pieces to mess with. But that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.